Welcome back to Up to Something Outdoors. Today's going to be a slightly different video. This boat, my buddy Heath from Hard Working Man brought over to me. We're going to see if it's a scrap boat or if it's worth saving. So Heath, what did you bring me today?
So this is a Sea-Ox, a Sea-Ox 180, 18 foot I assume. I bought this 3 or 4 years ago for $200, which I think is
not bad.
Absolute steal.
I'd be buying it for 200 bucks.
Even if it does end up being scrap. The trailer leaves a lot to be desired, but he's got a new trailer that we're going to adjust, and I did a little cash and trade with him.
One of the first things I noticed when you brought this over to me was how janky this trailer is.
It is janky, and
I like it's galvanized. That's awesome. But, like, I mean, the fenders broke off here, off the front. I had to replace a tire already just to move it around the yard.
Okay, I was going to say, I actually have about 120 miles on this trailer, and every time I'm holding my breath that it stays connected to the truck and off the asphalt.
Well, because even here, someone manufactured a longer tongue for it. They added a tongue length to it, probably because the boat's just a little longer than what they originally had on it. So this trailer and this boat should not go together.
And they're not going to for long, because we're going to modify that trailer and then swap it off at a marina.
Yep, because back in earlier this year, if you remember that tri-haul we did, that had a perfect trailer for this boat. Heath had told me about it, so I've been saving that since spring for this boat.
All right, so it is an older boat, but
1984 based on
84. The research I did, these are a very well constructed boat. This one needs some work, and it's definitely going to need to be cleaned up.
Oh, so it's dirty. Let's jump inside of it. There's a couple things we can do to tell if it's going to be a boat that's worth saving, or if things like the transom and the floors are rotted. If the transom and floors are rotted, this thing is not worth saving. So let's look at a couple things and see what we see. So starting to look at whether or not this is worth to restore or not. Come inside. It's dirty. The last sticker was registered through 2018. Given that Michigan registrations are 3-year registrations, that means the sticker was placed on in 2015. 10 years ago, that sticker was placed on. I'm guessing she's been sitting uncovered for most of that 10 years. Definitely got rips there. Everything's dirty. Now, what's got me hoping is that this is a Sea-Ox. Sea-Ox is a very high-end brand, well known for being rugged and durable. I'm hoping that the fiberglass kept a lot of the water out of the wood from the interior of the boat, and that we're going to be okay. We're going to start with looking at the transom, because that is the number one important thing. Heath, if your transom breaks while you're going down in the water, you're going to have a bad day.
Even if you got full coverage insurance?
Well, yeah, because you're still going to have the Coast Guard come and pull you out or recover you. It's going to be a bad day.
Scrap that plan. All right, so one thing I didn't know, because I'm not a boat guy, and that's why I'm here, is the shaft length. Is that what it's called? Mm-hmm. So engines have different shaft lengths depending on how big the boat is or how deep the transom is, correct?
It's all based on how the boat is designed. The motor is designed to fit the boat. So it depends on what the boat manufacturer did. Now, Heath was asking me about the motor and what it needs, and he didn't know what the shaft length is.
Because I did learn that there's a long shaft and a short shaft, and you said no, yours is an extra long shaft. Didn't know it existed. What is the shaft length? How do you measure it, and how do you get the right one?
Well, technically, there's short, long, extra long, extra long, and I believe there might be a triple XL long shaft. I don't know. That's ocean-going stuff that we don't see up here in the Great Lakes.
So here in Michigan, the primaries in a non-ocean going state is probably
short and long or extra long.
Okay, and this is an extra long motor. Correct. But it might not be the correct motor for the boat, right?
The easiest way, if you have a boat, to tell the shaft length that you need is you measure from here to here.
Okay.
It's the top of the end, you mount here to the very bottom of your transom, your keel area. That will tell you. Generally, there's a couple inch difference, flexibility in the rules. Shorts are 15-inch nominal, longs are 20, extra longs 25, double XL is 30, and so on. So measure from here to here, okay, which I just did, and that's 25 inches. So that's how you measure from the boat. If you're looking at an engine, you measure from this cavitation plate to where it would meet up to here. Ideally, when she's like not at an angle, or if she's flat, here to here. That'll tell you the length. So to check the transom, one of the first things I like to do when it's an outboard is actually shake the outboard. What I'm going to be looking for is any kind of a flex right in here. If this is still solid, because it's normally fiberglass, it's a fiberglass, a section of wood, and then fiberglass on the interior. It's like a sandwich, like an ice cream sandwich. So if the wood is all rotted in between, it has no support. The wood is the structure. So if I can take the motor, and if the transom's doing this or wobbling at all, it means all the structure's gone from the interior. All that wood's rotted out. It's not that's not going to be the end all be all, but it's my first step. So Heath, why don't you take a look here and see if any of this fiberglass flexes as I move the motor.
All right. I mean,
the boat's shaking a little, but is it flexing in and out, like pushing in, pushing out?
maybe just a tiny bit up here, but not much.
Yeah, it looks like just right in that corner there was a little bit, but I don't see the whole thing.
Like there, it's moving a little bit, but it's not a lot.
Well, that if it's moving any, it's not great. However, like I said, that's the first step. I mean, I'm not a small man, and me shaking on that is putting a lot of strain on it.
All right.
Let's look on the inside, but you need to do it when it's not at an angle. So Heath, what did they tell you about this motor when you got this?
When I bought this, and I bought it for $200, so I was a little bit, I guess, suspect of what they said. They said the motor runs great. It just needs a new starter. The starter is completely gone. I haven't ever even gone as far as to see if it turns over, see if it has. It was $200. I wasn't gonna not buy it or
pass
buy it
over
based
cash
on that.
and hook up and go.
And then I planned on doing something with this way sooner, but life gets in the way, and now I'm here.
Well, we'll look at the engine in a little bit.
You think this gas is good?
Oh, it's probably good for a bonfire. Let's look at the continue with the transom. From in here, there's a couple things that you can use to give you an idea of the condition of the transom. All right, and that's going to be your bolts. Since this engine's bolted through, anything above probably 25, 30 horse tends to get bolted in. I like looking to see if this is sunken in at all. As you can see, this one is sunken in a bit. That means when they tighten this thing down tight enough that it really put some pressure on it, and over the years it is just pulled in. Probably the wood behind it has given way a little bit so the fiberglass can come in further. It's not a great sign to see that dishing. It's not the end of the world again, but it's another sign. And then you can also take one of these off, which I already spun it off. And then you can look down the hole. In that hole, you should be able to see you can see the wood and see what the condition of that wood looks like. All right, so looking in the hole, looking at the wood, it's not easy to see on camera, but in person, it looks pretty good. By looking at it, you can generally get a decent idea. Also, I like looking at this when I pull it out. Looking at the threads and the dust coming off, because it's going to be caulked in. So you're going to have caulk coming out. But I'm making sure that this is mostly, or if not all, just caulk. Like it's not going to have pieces of wood in it or rot. And to me, that just looks like dirty caulk. Because you figure when they drill the holes and then they slap these bolts in with caulk, they didn't really clean all the sawdust out. Probably. But looking at that, to me, that looks like dried out caulking. Maybe some dry sawdust, but it's definitely not wet, and nor does it have any rot to it.
So far,
it's not
bad. So bad.
You got a couple positives and a couple okays.
Now I do see some little hairline fractures here. Does that mean anything, or is that just fiberglass that's 30 years old? It's
probably your gel coat, which is the topping on the fiberglass. Most of the time, your gel coat will need polishing out. I'm sure we'll find more of that when we go in through.
Power wash it.
A lot of it should clean up. So, Heath, your transom looks decent. From what I can see, there's a couple positives, a couple warning signs. It is old. I don't think, though, it's as bad as most of the stuff that comes to me. I would say it's probably still got some time left in it.
So that's a big thing. So right now we're at not scrap.
Yeah, that's
we're
a
at
definite
level
check
not
mark.
scrap.
Yeah. So now the next big thing that we're going to look at is the deck. If the floor is rotten, it's a no-go, the same as the transom. It's going to be a lot of work and a lot of expense to fix.
Well, we're going to have to throw some trash out of here so we can even see the deck.
Yep, let's heave some of this junk out. Another thing you can do to check the deck is find some place like this that's got an inspection cover. This is for the gas tank. And then just come underneath and feel. If the thing is really, really rotten, you'll feel mushy. You'll feel it being pretty, you'll feel the rot. And that one feels solid. It's wet, and it's been raining, but it feels pretty solid through here. Now this is also a deck piece that comes up, but it's getting held in by here. So some of this is going to get a little bit easier to look at once we power wash it, coming up in a future video. But there's a couple more things we can do to check. So now that we know the transom is good, we looked at down the hatch, we felt the deck was pretty good. The other thing to do is just go along and kind of give it a little bit of a jiggle.
I did this. This is one thing I did know, and I thought it was pretty solid.
It is. I'm not feeling any flex. If you've watched my channel at all, you've seen some of the decks we've dealt with.
I watched you step right through decks.
Put my foot right through them. Most of them, if they're bad, you'll feel it. They feel spongy. This one feels solid.
I mean, I think we have a good weight to test also.
Well, yeah, I love me some food. So let's look under this other hatch. We did that one. What's underneath this one? Yeah, a little bit of water. Again, the deck lid itself is in good shape. It's got a few, spider cracking on the gel coat, but it's solid.
I don't know that I ever looked in these.
Well, this is some fishing gear. So it says Sport Divers. What in the world's in here? Octopus, looks like.
Squid?
Squid? Yeah. Where did you get this boat from?
It was from Michigan. I do know they said they had it in Florida though, so maybe is this not Michigan tackle?
No, this is sea. Definitely offshore, like sea fishing type stuff. I don't fish a lot, but I don't know.
Maybe this could be the
like
ticket to Michigan fishing.
I
The
suppose.
squid lures.
Yeah.
That one looks rusty.
Yeah, that one's definitely some odd tackle. Not something you see in Michigan very often. Another thing to look at is not only the condition of the boat, but is the boat worth saving? In terms of, is it just a run-of-the-mill, open bow or something that they're a dime a dozen, not really worth fixing? Or is there something cool about the boat that would warrant someone putting time and effort and money into fixing? This is a good brand, as we discussed, but it has some really cool features on it. Like even this, it looks like just a normal center console, right? But you have all your stuff is behind plexiglass, keeping it cleaner. You have all your radios back behind plexiglass. That's just a cool little touch. Got extra compartments here. But what really surprised me on this boat that I haven't seen on a lot of the boats we scrap here is over here. Let me show you. It's here. This center console opens up and it's got fishing trays. All your tackle trays are mounted inside this center console, which is really cool. And they're in good shape. So you don't have to have a tackle box floating around your deck, bouncing around or whatever. It's built in to your center console. I mean, how smart is that? For a fishing boat? That's awesome. Also, you've got holes here and here, which on the other side is where they have their gaff and their boat hook slid into. Keeps them out of the way, but accessible. So you can always reach them when you have a fish on that you need to get at, but it's out of the way. It's a small touch, but it's really cool for fishing purposes. I haven't seen it on another boat before. That would make fishing nicer. And on this side of the console, you just got some rod holders. Come on up here. All right, hop up there.
Still on.
Okay. Also in this center console has this front hatch. Here's where you got your battery compartment. That's your tackle box area again. And there's some little bit of storage. That's where you can put your safety equipment and all of that out of the way. Yes, you can put another center console like this. You could take this console out and put it in another boat. But it's just well thought through. And then you have these two giant forward hatches. There's ants in this one. Whew. That's just storage compartment areas. Now those ants are not something I like seeing. But while we're here too, we can also check to see if this upper deck, what condition that's in. And that is pretty solid. There was no flex on. Ants all over me now. And this is just your anchor locker. Forward like normal. Like a lot of boats have. This one's got your anchor guide. And that's where your line would come up. So overall, this boat has a lot of cool features on it that really make it look salvageable. The transom is decent. May not be perfect, but it's decent. And the deck is good. Everywhere I've checked, feels solid on the deck. Overall, those are all good signs. I would say this is worth cleaning up and seeing from there. Seeing what the gel coat looks like, if there's any fiberglass big problems we see. But so far, it's checking out. It's going to be a really nice fishing boat for somebody. So let's take a look at this engine. Now he said everything but the starter. Now I am seeing a lot of rust in here. And if you look here, all of the spark plug boots are off. On that side and here. I don't know why all 6 spark plug boots would be off if it's just a starter. That makes me suspicious. So one way to test this to see if she'll turn over is by putting the engine into gear and seeing if you can rotate the prop. Like right now she's in neutral. So if you can turn it over, you should be able to roll it. It's on a big engine like this, it's not going to be easy, but it's something you could try. Go ahead and put it in gear.
I think I am.
It's in gear.
Let's try the other way. How about that?
No. So we either have a cable issue or there's
So I see it moving up here on the top of the engine.
yeah. Well, she's not going in and out of gear because she's staying in neutral by spinning. So yeah.
That's not great.
Well, your engine's definitely going to need a little bit of going through in order to run, that's for sure.
All right, so how did I do your initial assessment? I know we got to dig deeper. $200. Bargain or bust?
I think you got a good bargain on this. I think it's worth fixing. The hull design has a lot of really cool features. The hull is a really cool fishing hull. I think the transom's decent. The deck seems solid. Now, the engine, not so much. But, and the trailer, really not so much.
Well, we got the trailer addressed,
Yes,
so that will
the new
become...
trailer for it. I think it's worth cleaning up, and I think it's going to be worth saving. I don't think it's going to be a scrapper.
All right, so we're going to come back in another video. We're going to power wash this. Rachel's coming. If you don't know who Rachel is, check out Hardworking Man. She's worth a look, and she's a hard worker. And we're going to bring the power washer, me, Jonathan, Rachel, whoever else. We're gonna get dirty and make this thing clean. And you guys aren't going to want to miss it to see what we can turn this into.
First power wash in a decade.
Yeah, it'll definitely look better than it does. It can't look much worse, sir.
Well, pretty much. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day.